He was born a prince, the only prince, the crown prince. But no matter where he went, trouble followed him like a shadow. Every step he took was met with struggle, and the crown he was meant to wear felt heavy, as if it was waiting to crush him. His path wasn't easy. It was full of danger and secrets waiting to be uncovered. It was the year 1733. It was just another quiet September night in the Maldives. The queen was about to give birth to her fifth child, their second son. But this time, the whole kingdom held its breath, because a year ago, a baby prince was born, but he died before he could even open his eyes. Sultan Ibrahim Iskandar was only 25 years old. He was young, he was full of hope. When baby Mohamed finally cried, the Sultan smiled like the whole world belonged to him. This boy was the future. When Mohamed was just 4 years old, his mother died. The light in his life flickered out. Then, 3 years later, his grandmother passed away too. His world grew darker, but he was still a prince, the only one. The palace celebrated every single step he took. When he finished his first Quran recitation at 13, the king threw a feast so grand, every man, every woman, and every single child in Male joined to share the joy. But death did not stop stalking him. When Mohamed was only 17, his father, the Sultan, died. But instead of the crown coming to him, it went to his uncle, and he became Sultan Mukarram Muhammad Imaduddin. No fight, no battle, just a cold passing of power. But the real storm had just started brewing. Two powerful men, Chief Justice Muhammad Shamsuddin and his brother, they were furious. They did not accept Muhammad Imaduddin as their new king. So they wrote a secret letter to the Ali Raja of Kannanur asking him to invade. The Malabars came like wildfire. They took the king, Sultan Mukarram Muhammad Imaduddin, the crown prince, Mohamed and many officials hostage. They burned half of Male to ashes. They took him far away to Andrut, which is an island in Lakshadweep, and then they took him to Maliku. And after that, they finally took him to Kannanur, and he was a prisoner. He tried to escape so many times, but he was caught again and again. Finally, after years of struggle, he slipped away and found safety in Odisha, India. And there, under the name Muhammad Khan, he found love. He married a local woman named Piri. Ten years had passed since his capture. Back home, now the throne belonged to a man named Bandaarain, a hero to many. When he heard that Mohamed was alive, he risked everything to bring him back. But not everyone was happy to see Mohamed return. The people around Bandaarain, they hated it. They hated the fact that Mohamed the long-lost prince, was back, alive in good health, and he was so loved by the current sultan. Mohamed Malik Khan was definitely the first person who was not a king but was treated like one. He was given the top royal treatment. He was given the kind of welcome reserved only for crowned rulers of the Maldives. Though the Bandaarain was king, he made it known to all that Mohamed Malik Khan was the one he honored during Eids, during state events, during every single public celebration. It was Mohamed Malik Khan who stood at the front, draped in royal garments. He wasn't king for sure, but he was treated like one because the Bandaarain didn't just respect him. He loved him like a brother, like a son, like a man who had earned his own crown in suffering. But happiness was short-lived in Mohamed Malik Khan's life because, remember, death followed him everywhere. Just 4 months after returning to Male, the love of his life, Piri, the woman who gave him reason to survive, died. Just like that, gone. Buried in an island she barely knew. And then, 4 years later, the man who had lifted Mohamed Malik Khan from ashes, the one who gave him back his name, his home, his dignity, the Bandaarain, also died. With trembling hands, his heavy heart that was full of love, he buried the Bandaarain right beside his own father, Sultan Ibrahim Iskandar. He did not bury a man, he buried a father figure, a brother, a friend, the only man who had ever truly believed in him. Before dying, the Bandaarain named Mohamed Malik Khan the next Sultan of the Maldives, and he ruled the Maldives as Sultan Mohamed Ghiyasuddin Radhun Maharadum, simply known as Ghiyasuddin Radhun. Finally, the crown was his, but power brought more pain. Some wanted Ghiyasuddin Radhun dead and the Bandaarain's son on the throne. Ali Raja of Kannur invaded Maldives with 15 warships. He was anchored between Dunidu and Bihimanafushi of Kafu Atoll, and he attacked Male. Ghiyasuddin Radhun fought bravely alongside his son Ibrahim, and they won. In his 7th year, Ghiyasuddin Radhun left for Hajj. With trust in his heart, he handed the kingdom to his sister Amina Kaleyfaanu and her husband Ali Shahu Bandar, asking only that they hold it safe until his return. He took his wife and son Ibrahim and sailed into the unknown, believing he'd return to the same island with same power and the same peace. But by the 4th day of his journey, before the horizon could even swallow his sails, Shahu Bandar had already begun the work to become king himself. The word travelled fast. Hurrah Mohamed Malik Khan, the nephew of the Bandaarain, heard the whispers and saw the signs. He stood up, the guns were loaded, soldiers picked their sides, and the kingdom was on the edge of war. The Chief Justice, with courage or fear perhaps, forbade a single shot to be fired. It was just a breath away from bloodshed. In the end, Shahu Bandar and Amina Kaleyfaanu was exiled to Khidhumaiykuraa Atoll, where they lived out their days in silence and died in disgrace. But peace did not return. The throne was taken by Hurrah dynasty. Hurrah Muhammad Taqi Khan crowned himself as Sultan Muhammad Shamsuddin Iskandar II. his first act as king, he stripped Ghiyasuddin Radhun of everything, every robe, jewel and title, except for one small mercy, the palace in Dhivehiraajeyge. And then he exiled Ghiyasuddin Radhun's remaining family far from the capital. But it didn't end there. He brought back the children of Bandaarain from their mother's island and handed over the throne to Bandaarain's son, who became Sultan Mohamed Muizuddin Iskandar, better known as Bandaarain. And while kings rose and fell around him, Ghiyasuddin Radhun was still in Makkah, unaware that he had lost everything, his kingdom, his name, and worst of all, his wife and his son died during the journey. So when he returned to the Maldives, he wasn't just a ruler, he was a broken man. He arrived in Tiladumati, grief weighing heavy on his shoulders. When he heard what had happened, he didn't call for war. He didn't scream for vengeance. He just sent a letter. He accepted his fate. He didn't want power. He didn't want the throne. He just wanted peace. He just wanted a home to rest his grief-heavy bones. But the Sultan didn't like it. He didn't send a letter back. He didn't offer mercy. Instead, he sent soldiers to Ghiyasuddin's ship. But to the people in Mali, the message was spun sweet and clean. They were told that the soldiers were just bringing him to shore and he'll stay in Ranjahigandwaru. The people believed it, but something darker was already unfolding quietly beneath the surface. The soldiers, they took Ghiyasuddin Radhun into a small boat. They tied him up and then they drowned him. It was the 7th of October, 1774. He was just 41 years old. Two days passed in silence. Then the word got out. When people of Mali found out what had happened, the city erupted. Rage, chaos, disbelief. They had been lied to, betrayed again by the very crown that claimed to rule with justice. Mohamed Ghiyasuddin, once known as Hurra Mohamed Manik Khan, the nephew of the Bandaarain, he stood before the crowd, unshaken. And he said that he asked the Chief Justice what to do with Ghiyasuddin Radhun, and he told Mohamed Ghiyasuddin to kill him. So he did. The sin was on his head. But the Chief Justice Ghazi Muhammad Muhibuddin was horrified. He swore before God and said that he never said such a thing and he didn't even know. Just like that, Ghiyasuddin Radhun's name was erased from the palace. His family was broken apart. His young little son Abdullah, who was left in Mali, was exiled to Formula. But even then the water never settled, because some say he wasn't drowned. Some say they brought him to Mali, took him to Kaleyfaanu, killed him there in secret, and stuffed his body into a box, buried him deep in the jungle of Boduganduvaru, the same land that would one day be known as the Sultan Park. In 1970, during renovations, a box was found. Inside it were bones, a skeleton, no name, no records. No one could say who it belonged to, but those who know the old stories, they still wonder, was it him? Let me know what you think. Until we are able to unfold another tale beyond the sunny side, this is me, Tata, signing off. Bye bye.